Alright all, and welcome back to a video I've been looking forward to making for an awful long time. It is the day one final selections for the Cheltenham Festival of 2021. There won't be much beating around the bush for this video. If you haven't looked at the previous previews that I've been on a couple of preview nights as well, you'll probably know by now the horses I'm going to be backing for the week. But it's just a run through. There's obviously a few races that I haven't covered that much. There's been a few races I have covered a lot more. But these are the terms I'm taking, and also I'm going to be making sure that I just spell out in terms of places and what markets I'm taking these prices from, so it's fair. We know what to expect, and we know therefore whether I'll have won or lost on these races. I'm trying to not pull the wool over anyone's eyes. They'll all be down in the description below, as will be the list of, say, non-runners of AntePost bets, a couple of which are non-runner no bet, a couple of which aren't. So on day one, for example, Sam Waugh was an AntePost bet for the Champion Hurdle, which has lost and wasn't non-runner. It was back in September, and that money is gone. As for the likes of Lieutenant Rocco or Pencilfullofled, who are also non-runners for day one's card, were non-runner no bet when put up. So I'll put them in, but there's been no lost stakes in the process. But moving on into the Supreme Novices Hurdle, and I put up in the day one official preview, appreciated at 7-4. He's now best price, I think, 11-8 for the race. If I'm being honest, I probably would wait till Tuesday and see whether a bookie would take him on rather than taking the 11-8. But I've put him up at 7-4. He's been my selection for the race pretty much all through the year. I do think he's got the most robust form lines. As I say, if you want the in-depth look into these races and look into these horses, do go watch the previous videos, because this is going to be short and sweet. And I'm going to add in, you'll find with an awful lot of these races, I'm actually playing 2 or playing 3 in the occasional handicap throughout the week. I don't think that's a bad thing. People will tell you it's a bad thing. It's Cheltenham, for goodness sake. We're allowed to have a couple of bets. You're allowed to have, whether it comes in at 14 bets in a day or something like that. Like, it's 1 week, we've all been looking forward to it, and I'll be playing 2 in the majority of these races. And the one I will be playing as a saver is Blue Lord at 10-1 each way, 3 places, only 8 runners in the Supreme. I don't think any bookie is giving more than 3 places, but I'm playing him at 10-1. I think he might be able to follow Appreciated home. Daryl Jacob in the saddle for the first time. He's obviously in the Manere and Suede colours for Willie Mullins. 2 very respectable runs the last twice, and I think he could go very well. The Arkle has cut up significantly since I last previewed it, because obviously Energamine isn't in there, and that's a massive shame for the overall complexion of the race. It leaves Shishkin at 4-7. I'm going to be prepared to leave Shishkin at 4-7. I backed Captain Guinness, AntePost in the February preview for this race at 25-1 each way at 3 places. And the fact that it's 6 runners is great. It means he only has to finish in the top half and will have gotten place money, and I'm hoping he might be able to do so. And I'm going to take another crack at the favourite here in the without market as well, to try and save things. So in an ideal world, Captain Guinness will win, but if Shishkin was to win, this horse would finish second and Captain Guinness third, because we'd then be paid out on the 2. But Franco de Port at 7-2 without the favourite Shishkin, available with William Hill, I think is a good bet. It gives us 2 chances to beat All Mankind. I don't believe Eldorado Allen or Numator are good enough to be in the shake-up here. I do believe it's us 2 against All Mankind. And I do believe I'd be disappointed and almost a little bit flabbergasted, really, if one of them wasn't to pick up All Mankind. Ideally, we want Captain Guinness to run very well, but I suppose if Franco de Port was to come second to Shishkin and Captain Guinness third, we'd also be happy enough with that. So I'm adding in Franco de Port 7-2 without the favourite, alongside the 25-1 each way bet on Captain Guinness. The Ultima, I am looking at the Sky Bet market, and I'm looking at the Sky Bet market because it's the only bookmaker going 7 places. So there's a couple of bookies going 5 places, a couple going 6. Sky Bet's the only one going 7. As a result, you're not getting the same price. You're getting a slightly smaller price, but I'm backing I Right in this at 6-1 each way. I know that's not a great price each way, but I'm trying to cover my ass really in some of these festival handicaps, and if you keep ticking over in these handicaps, you'll end up having not a bad week, I think. I Right, I'd be very, very disappointed if he wasn't to run a massive race in this. I know he's got a large weight, and I know big weights don't have that great a record in the Ultima. Obviously, Vindication did come fourth in it off top weight last year. He's danced every dance this year for Harriet Graham. Dickie Johnson takes the ride, which I think will suit. He's kind of an aggressive front-running type. Get him into a rhythm, and hopefully he can run well. 6-1. You can get as big as 13-2 and 7-1 with other bookies, but that's only at 5 places, and I'm taking a point off the price to get the insurance of 2 more places. And I know that some people might think that's conservative betting, but it's the way I'm playing the race. The other one I'm going to play, also 7 places, a little bit of a hard overhead one really, because he has fallen and unseated in his last 2 starts, but it's discordantly for Jessica Harrington and Robbie Power off a mark of 142. He ran superbly in the Troy Town when he came 4th behind the blot that was the Jam Man. If you took him out of the race, he would have been a very, very close 3rd. He won earlier in the season at Galway. I think on a bit of better ground, he might be seen to better effect. Obviously, as I say, he has unseated or fallen the last twice, which is a big negative going into a race like this. But Jesse had Magic of Light come 5th or 6th in this race a couple of years ago, and it wouldn't surprise me if Discordantly was to run a good race. He certainly has the ability to be involved if his jumping can stand the test of time, and hopefully that can be the case. At 14-1, I'm going to play him with eye right. The champion hurdle, I put up Honeysuckle last month at 5-2. She's now 9-4, I think, best price. I don't know whether you can get 5-2. You might be able to. And I'm also looking at the William Hill market. And please, like, if you can, now I know some people will say you can't get on certain bookies, but if you can with William Hill, do take advantage. It's a 10-runner champion hurdle, and they're paying out 5 places, which is blasphemous bookmaking, really. But as punters, you got to take advantage of this. And I'm playing Sharjah 10-1 each way with William Hill, 5 places. I think that's a fairly safe bet, to be honest. Again, I'd be really disappointed if he wasn't in the 5 here. He's going to be ridden cold. They're going to go off pretty hot out in front. The likes of Goshen, Aspire, Towers in there, Not So Sleepy's in there. They may just go a stride too fast, and it might set it up for a closer. And I think Sharjah could run a big race, especially on a bit better ground that he does seem to like. He's been very good at Christmas the last couple of years, not so good at the Dublin Racing Festival, but he was second in the race last year, and I think he could go quite close again. As I say, I'm going to be playing him at 10-1. You can get 12-1 out there. You might even be able to get 14-1 in a place with 3 places. So I'm going to leave that up to you. This is just how I'm playing the races, and you will notice throughout the week that I am going to be playing these races pretty safe. But that's just trying to ensure, you know, as I say, ticking along. And if some of these win, then we'll eventually have a good week, fingers crossed. Moving on to the Mayor's Hurdle, and I have backed Black Tears for this race at 33-1 each way, 3 places. She's now 14-1 4th favourite. She went on a monumental drift on the machine last night, and I got very, very wary that she was going to be a non-runner this morning, but she's been declared, which is brilliant. So I'm playing her. I think it's only a 3-place race with everyone at the moment. I don't know whether that might change or not, but I've got her at 3 places at 33s, and I didn't think I was going to do it, but at the same time, I didn't think she'd still be odds against. And I just can't let it fly with Concertista at 5-4. I'm going to have to back her at that price. I thought she'd be 4-5, 4-6. Roxanne, I don't think she really suits Cheltenham. Damn the Company has been chasing. I don't really like that as an angle. I know some of you might know that from me. And then obviously playing Black Tears, who I do still think can run a very good race and hopefully hit the frame, especially if her jumping was a little bit slicker than it was the last day in Punchestown, which was blatantly just a prep run for this. There are a few other good mares in there. Great White Shark, My Sister Sarah. There's a couple more runners in the race than I probably predicted there might be. I thought it would cut up into being almost like a 6-7 runner, like the way the Arkles ended up turning up. But it is still, it's a strong 10-runner field, I believe. But I'm going to be playing Black Tears each way, which I have done for the last month. And I will be back in Concertista at 5-4. I know a few of you will be in the comment section going, oh, why is he caved? Some of you will be going, thank God he's seen the light. I just thought she'd be odds on at this stage, and the fact you can still get odds against, I think, is a good bet. Moving on to the Boodles, I put up in the handicap video Druids altar for this race at 14 to 1 each way. That was 5 places, and I'm going to take 14 to 1. Even though he's currently 20 to 1. You can get 20 to 1 out there about him, but that's not how AntePost betting works, unfortunately. I have to take 14 to 1, and it's a bit of a slap in the face, I suppose. And if he won at 25 to 1, it would be an even bigger slap in the face. But I'm going to be playing him. I'm going to be playing 2 others, one of which I put up for the Triumph Hurdle, Nassalam. I just think at 18 to 1, 5 places, I know he's top weight, and top weight is a daunting task in this race of 141, but I think in any given year he'd be running in the Triumph. I think just the fact that the Triumph looks so strong this year is why he's ended up in this race, and I still think he's a horse of a lot of ability, and if you look at the Adagio and Monmoral form, I think that's not to be sniffed at, and he may be just a bit better than a lot of these, and as a result, I think 18 to 1's just too big. I know there may be, better handicapped horses in there, and I'm probably going to be covering it with my saver being one of the ones that looks very well handicapped. But Nassalam at 18 to 1, I believe, is just too big. As I say, the one I alluded to there that I will also be backing is right at the top of the market. You can get 6 to 1 about him, 5 places, is Grix for Paul Nicholls. And I know this is a bit of a talking horse, but off a mark of 129, he could be extremely well in. There's no getting away from it. He came with a tall reputation from France. He ran quite well in the Grade 1 at Chepstow when beaten by Adagio and Nassalam. He is going to have to make up around 20 lengths on Nassalam, but he gets a £12 swing at the weights, which will give him every opportunity to go and do so. As I say, he's been found in the market. He is quite short. I'm not sure about the likes of St. Sam, Busselton. I don't know how much in hand they have. I'm getting a little bit windy on Druids altar just because this, as a precipitation from the Triumph Hurdle being so good this year, this is an unusually strong renewal of this race. The likes of Nassalam, Hume, St. Sam, like in any given year they'd be running in a Triumph Hurdle, but they're all in this, and I know Hugh Morgan's taken £5 off Druids altar, which will aid his cause. But I do think he's probably got a bit to find. But him, Grix and Nassalam for the Boodles, it is a 22-runner handicap, so I'm not feeling any way guilty playing 3 in a race like that. I'm sure a fair few of you guys will be playing a couple in these big handicaps. And the National Hunt Chase, a little bit disappointed because I was humming and hawing when I put up the day 1 preview between Pencilfullofled and Escaria 10. For this race, which one would I put up? Non-runner, no bet. I put up Pencilfullofled. He's now a non-runner, so money back. He might run in the Brown Advisory. Escaria 10 was the same price at 12 to 1, and he's now 4 to 1, which is just a shame. But that being said, I really like Escaria 10, so I'm going to be putting him up at 4 to 1 to take on Galvin. Obviously, Royal Pagaille not entered in this race. He goes for the Gold Cup. I think Galvin's opposable at the top of the market, especially at 7 to 4. I wouldn't be wading in. I think Escaria 10's a really nice progressive type of horse, and at 4 to 1, I'm more than willing to take a chance. He's got a big hand to play in this race. And the one that I'm going to be playing in the each way market, 4 places, is the Reynoldsdown winner, I believe it was, Remastered, for David Pipe and Tom Skoo. I thought he was super in the Reynoldsdown. Now, I do believe it wasn't a very good renewal of the race. Severano unfortunately lost his life. Full back was very disappointing, and the rest of them didn't really figure. But he is a very nice horse, and this extreme trip potentially may suit him, and at 8 to 1 I think he's just about big enough a price to be backing him alongside Escaria 10. Anyway, those are my final selections for the day 1 video, all in 15 minutes time. As I say, you may be a little bit up in the air that I'm backing 2 in many races. If you look at Cheltenham in years gone by, I have tended to back 2 in each race. It's just the way I am. It's good fun, and hopefully between all of them we can back a couple of winners. I will be recording all the bets, all the profit, all the loss, and obviously we'll be reviewing it at the end of the week, whether I've won money or lost money. I'm trying to do this as honestly as I can. I'm not a tipster, but I am a previewer, and a previewer has to give his selections out and has to, potentially put his neck on the line, and that's what I'm doing. I'd love to know what your final selections are for the races down below. If you want to put in a selection per race or all your selections, make sure to do so. I'd love to see all of them, and I'll be sure to get in touch. And of course, really enjoyed Cheltenham. The day 2 of official selections preview will actually be up on tomorrow night, so Monday night, so before Cheltenham has actually started, and then the Thursday will be Tuesday night, Friday, Wednesday night, and so on and so forth. I really hope you have a good week. Hopefully we can back a couple of winners. It has been a hard year for all of us in lockdown, both in Ireland or over in the UK. Hopefully we can have a great week and enjoy it. And until next time, which will be the day 2 final selections, hope you stay safe, stay well, and we'll hopefully have a great week. See you then.